Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster on the World of Marketing, and I've got my two buddies here, Frank and Andy from Kahuna Accounting.
Kahuna. Hi, Tom.
And look, hey guys, it's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Where are you calling in on this Zoom call from?
Well, you'd think it'd be Hawaii, but it's not. It's Bloomington, Illinois.
Yeah, but you got a giant surfboard.
We do.
That is your conference table, which is awesome because that is Kahuna, ride the wave.
It is.
Kahuna.
Mm-hmm.
So this is everybody might, this is a repeat. Frank's been on this show before. And Frank and Andy are good buddies of mine that are in Business Black Ops with me. And that is the organization run by Dave Fries. And of course, Business Black Ops is sponsoring this program today. And so if you are looking for a mastermind group filled with a bunch of crazy entrepreneurs that really have a good time together and learn from the master himself, Dave Fries, then check out Business Black Ops. We'll put links in the thing. But today, this is about Kahuna, and I wanted to talk to you guys again because you and I have been talking. We've been talking about, and we're going to be doing some co-promotions. We're partnered up. You know, we have several, mutual clients that have had great success. Lawyers, you guys focus on lawyers and lawyer accounting. And I say that, even though I know you're going to change that in a minute, but I know you hate it when I say that, but it's like people calling me a web guru. It's, you're like, wait, I think I'm a little more than that. Hey, okay, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
But we're going to learn today, and this is a stumper for me, is how better accounting can make you a better marketer, which is mind-blowing to me, considering, I'm not a half-bad marketer. And I'm a terrible accounting person. That's one of the first things that I adjusted, and I'll tell you about that once we get this started. But first, I got to say this. Everybody, if you like this, the World of Marketing, please subscribe.
That's right.
Share it and like
Link
it.
below.
That's right. The links are below. I'm pointing at the right Thomas.
Exactly.
And so, wherever you're listening to this, please share it. Get the word out if you'd like to do that. Okay, so Frank.
Yes.
First of all, you are a fellow entrepreneur. And God, how long have we known each other?
It's almost, I'd say at least 10 years, if not.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
About 10 years.
So.
And we met through our mutual friend, Dave Fries.
That's right.
And you are a former Army captain, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what the rank you finally achieved? And when you got out of the Army, and so we have this connection. Everybody that's in the military knows this connection thing, even though it was Army, it's okay.
Right.
I was a Marine, but it's all good.
That's all right. I'll talk slow.
Thank you. I need that. Exactly. Anyway, so tell everybody real quick the story about what you did, because it's a really cool entrepreneur story. You were young, you're in your 20s doing this, right? Or
yeah, I was literally in my 20s.
Tell us about the ATM and how you became a millionaire in your 20s.
Well, yeah, actually, I think I lost $1 million before I made $1 million in this story, but it was the 90s and started out, I knew I wanted to be in business, and I had some college buddies, and we started a credit card merchant services company, and it had a great name, CMS. Community Merchant Service.
That's a great name.
Everything was something MS back then. Right. And I knew that there was going to be a law change related to ATMs. And it used to be you could only get ATMs in banks. And there was an off-premise opportunity that was coming about in 1997. So I was kidding with our lawyer and I said, if this ATM thing works out right, it could be the big Kahuna. And so we crossed off Newco and wrote Kahuna. And I didn't think much of it because I didn't know a lot about marketing at the time or branding, but we'd go to all these trade shows and everything was a 3-letter acronym, AMS, UMS, IMS. And we had the Kahuna logo, like Andy's shirt. And we're in Bloomington, Illinois, but pretty soon it stuck out as, hey, it's the Kahuna guys. And it was just something different and a little bit of a different way. And it didn't really have anything to do with normal surfing, but to be able to take opportunities as they come and to be able to assess and to be able to do the best you can with whatever's given to you. And so we built that business. We really had no capital at the time. We had no business being in that business, but we kind of figured out how to be in the middle and add value to both sides of the market.
But just like, this is back before ATMs were in all the places, right? I mean, like, that's what you did. Like, that's what that's what Frank did. So like, Frank is one of the original guys that put those little ATM boxes in like the 7-Elevens and and all the convenience,
all the bodegas stores in New York and the different places.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
That's pretty big. So you built this up to be a pretty substantial company and you ended up selling it?
Well, we built it up. We didn't sell direct. What we did was we worked through other what we at the time called affiliates. This is before affiliate marketing and the internet and everything else. Thinking of more like TV station affiliates. And so what we did was we found relationships with a lot of different vendors and made it simple, made it easy for them to work with all of these distributors across the country. And for the distributors, you needed equipment, you needed processing, you needed vault cash, you needed service, you needed maintenance. There were it was very fragmented. And so we just sat in the middle and just figured out the pain points and then added value to the different players on both sides. And we built it up to about $28 million in revenue in the turn of the 2008, 2009. And I thought it was a pretty good business. And it was in a lot of ways, but there was a lot of things that I didn't know, specifically around accounting. So it's funny because now I own an accounting business. And I'd like to just say to all the people out there watching, accounting sucks. But it doesn't have to.
But that's what's amazing is like that lesson in growing that business and selling that business because of the frustrations that you had.
Right.
Accounting is what led you to start your own accounting company, right?
Exactly. Even in the value, I mean, we didn't know the value of the business, and we had just one client that we helped grow, and they grew from a little part of our business to about 17 or 18% of our business. They decided that they wanted to sell. I never planned on selling the business. And when they decided to sell, they gave me one of those, Frank, we've got something to talk to you about. You're going to be selling this business. I said, no, I'm not. Well, I ended up selling the business because it was a very thin margin business and they were such a concentration. If they left, it would have been a catastrophic failure. And I didn't know it. I didn't understand it. And so they gave us a snapshot at that one point in time. They said, we're going to do a valuation and you're going to pay for it. And we paid about $15,000 for this valuation. And it was decent, but oh my gosh, if we would have had time and we could have known a little bit more to plan, it could have been so much better. So we walked away with a really nice high 7-figure exit, but it could have been an 8-figure exit. And there was just so many lessons that I learned the hard way of I just didn't know the right questions to ask. I mean, there are advisors everywhere. I mean, there are people that knew everything with MBAs and CPAs and oh my, but I didn't ask the right questions. And so because I didn't know the right questions to ask, I was given a path that I didn't know the right answers to. And I made some mistakes. And that's when we started.
Would you say that you were taken advantage of because of not knowing? Do you feel that, Frank?
I don't feel so much. I mean, again, it's like with the lawyers understand this and accountants, there's no benefit for them to be creative. Oh, let me tell you this tax strategy that could save you millions of dollars. Because if it goes bad, if it goes good, they don't make any more money. And if it goes bad, then they've got risk and things like that. So it's really incumbent upon the business owner, and I have to take responsibility for it. I'd love to have somebody to blame. Dang it, it's their fault. but it's not. It was totally on me.
Well, you endlessly fall on the sword. We know this.
Yeah. But I have to take personal responsibility for that. And it really is a good lesson learned to be able to know that, look, business owners, whether you're, a professional practice, building a business as an attorney or as a doctor or as entrepreneurs like us, we have to understand what we're trying to accomplish. We have to understand where we are. It's just like any journey. You need to know where you're starting. Sure. Because, if I ask, hey, Tom, what's a good website? If you don't ask me good questions, how could you possibly answer that? And that's just, a small sliver of a sliver of a sliver. And that's the same thing with accounting is just data and information. But if we can understand how to calibrate it and align it to what's really important to us, then it can be something meaningful that's driving our business, driving our ambition, driving our vision. And that's really what's important, because with marketing, if you don't know what you're trying to achieve, then you won't know if you're winning or losing. And that's really what we want to do with accounting, is making it something so you can gamify that.
Yeah, because it's a big misconception. And, I know this is kind of funny because Dave Freeze was part of this mastermind group that I was originally in, which was the Capuzzi Glass mastermind group, which is where I met Dave. And this is back when I was alone and I was doing it all myself. And I was, doing QuickBooks myself and doing my own accounting. And I remember, walking in one of the mastermind meetings, and I'm like, I'm always so stressed out because I'm doing everything. And I'm like, I've got to get, I'm thinking about getting an accountant, and everybody threw rocks at me and were like, why have you waited so long? And but then I ended up doing that. But I thought, because the way that I was doing accounting and the way that I thought in my head at that age, and I was in my 30s, just really kind of becoming this, running my own business, even though it was really just me and a few other people. I thought accounting was just, you get a bill and you pay the bill. And you hope that, you're in the black at the end of the month. You know what I mean? Right. And you got to get, but that's the thing. That's accounting. But what you're talking about is way more than that. I had the same kind of base knowledge of it, I guess that you did. And if I had gotten into, it's what you don't know.
Right.
And that's what I've learned is over the years, because with the company growth, tax, this, that, the other thing, as you grow, you get employees, all these things change.
That's right.
When you're not just doing it all by yourself. And so a lot of the people listening, I didn't mean to go on and on about my own stuff, but a lot of the people who are listening are in the same kind of boat of not really understanding what accounting is,
right,
and how you can actually use it as a positive tool instead of something you got to do. Right?
Absolutely right.
Isn't that the message we're trying to get?
Yeah.
Andy is finally over there shaking. So Andy's the one that brings order to the chaos over there.
Yes, for sure.
Right? Andy's kind of like your buster.
So yeah. And I was going to say, so much like even when you're talking with people about marketing, so oftentimes people will say that's a necessary evil. I got to market. I got to sell more. So just sell it. Sell the crap, And for us, it's here's the books. Just do it. Get it done. It's a necessary evil. I hate it. And they throw all the other, 4-letter words at it. But it can be so powerful when you actually use it, right?
Right. When you have a different view of it, if you understand, when you're working with law firms and you're working with we have very similar clients,
Yes.
They're solo or small firms. They're not big, giant, humongous firms. These are people that need to outsource or get help with their
Mhm.
accounting or their finances and whatnot. And like what you just said, Andy, is like, you're right. It's a lot like people coming to us and say, we want a great website, and then throw it at us and then run away. That doesn't work. Like,
Right.
what are your goals? Like, what do you
Yeah.
want? Like, you got to
Yes.
understand that, right? I mean, like, and there's so many hidden opportunities in your accounting and the way that you do your accounting, right?
Right. Well, and that's one of the things that we've found out really is that, accounting, there's the base level of accounting, like what you talked about, that is necessary. Every business needs to do accounting for the government, for yourself. There's a certain level of that that's just non-negotiable. Every business has to do it. And if you stop there, you're okay, you can survive. But there's a series of things that business owners want. We want to drive growth. We want to have cash flow. We want to be profitable. We want to be able to have value in what we're creating, and we want to create wealth. And those 5 things are really important. And we're all working on all 5 of those, but they're not the same priority or sequence. And so when you look at somebody, like if they ask about, hey, can you build me a website? I just need a website. Well, it's important to understand, are you trying to sell something? Are you trying to build a brand? Are you trying to stand out from your competition? Are you trying to be able to educate your clientele? So these decisions that we've come up with and really discovered through this, they're not really binary, yes or no, good or bad. It's kind of what's more important to you. So for instance, you've heard of profit first, Mike Michalowicz.
Right.
It's a really good concept. And we understand it very well. But to say profit first means that something else is coming second. So it could be, if you're going profit first, and that means growth is coming second. So if you don't ask the right question, maybe growth is more important to you right now, and then profit can come once you've established a good growth trend. So we're not here to tell you what to do. Hey, you need to do this. You should be doing this. We want to be able to ask better questions, entrepreneur to entrepreneur.
Well, I think that it's like, you've got to know what, for instance, if I would hire you, you need to know what my goals are. What are your goals,
right,
Tom?
and in sequence.
Right, right. And what do you want to do it? And
Yeah.
It's not, of course, the bills need to be paid and the checks need to be written.
Right.
It's like that's like, yes, of course, Google needs to come to your website. Like that's a given.
Exactly.
But how and who and what and it's so let's talk about how accounting can make you a better marketer. Tell us how that works, because that's what I want to know.
Yeah, I'll start, and I want to pass it off to Andy, because you mentioned Dave Freese, and Dave is a great mentor to us both, and he talked a lot this year about understanding the purpose of your business and the mission and your vision and your values. And that can be talked about to where it gets a little bit like it's not relevant to me. And what we want to be able to do with the entrepreneurs that we work with the business owners and professional practice builders, is to make sure that your accounting is completely aligned and calibrated with that vision and that mission and your goals and your ambition. And so when you're talking to Foster Web Marketing about, Tom, this is what we want to achieve, we need more clients or more customers, or we want to be able to look at this stable of customers and clients and winnow it down to the most profitable, or to understand something different. That's what accounting can do, is help you understand where you are and then calibrate as a path to make it more optimum for where you're trying to go. And that's really what we try to do, is not, again, to tell people what to do, but to help them understand the questions that they don't know to ask.
Understand the data better, understand the numbers better, right, Andy?
Exactly.
That's what you're kind of saying. I mean, like, it's really about getting the right information from the data. Like,
yeah,
you have a firm that's been, around for a while and they've got a good track record. Where are the best clients coming from? Do they know?
Yeah.
Like, are their best clients truly the most profitable for that? Like, those are questions that they might not be asking, and they should be asking.
Right.
Because a lot of times you're surprised. Your favorite, best clients might not be your most profitable clients.
Right.
Or they might be. I mean, like, but how do you know unless you have a good relationship with your books?
Right.
And
how do you know your
most
cost
people
of
don't.
client acquisition? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
are their marketing campaigns working?
you know, the saying, you manage what you can measure. And everybody in marketing is trying to measure all these other metrics, but leads based upon no number of what it costs you. What good is that?
Right.
You know, what's the outcome? And it starts in marketing, but it goes all the way down. And again, efficiency, those you like and trust and you want to work with more, you know, maybe you make less money, but it's less of a pain in the backside to be able to work with a certain niche of clients. So if that's part of what you want, if you don't measure it, you don't know.
Yeah.
And so, like, let's get to a lot of people will just hire, you know, an accountant or somebody like that. That's kind of what we do, you know. Oh, I need an accountant, or I need, and like, that's what I did. I needed to hire a money person. I didn't really know what I needed. And that naivety cost me a lot of money, you know,
Totally
like
know.
what you're doing, Frank. I mean, like, you know, Frank, you and I are like kind of like going back and trying to fix a lot of mistakes that we made over the years.
Right.
And I made a lot of mistakes in accounting by not partnering up with the right people, you know. And right now, you know, I got Buster and Jen, who are just great, you know, and obviously Buster's my partner with all of that stuff, and I'm fortunate, but not everybody's got that. And most people do not have that. And that, like, Buster's kind of a unicorn in that way.
Right.
Is that, you know, I brought him on to run operations for me. But in you know, he took over CFO as well, you know, because that was not being done right. And he saw that, and he's just made that. Now we're fantastic. But it was, yeah. What were you going to?
I was going to say, and Buster's not a CPA, right?
No.
But as a CFO, he's been armed with the information to kind of sniff out, smell out, and just kind of have a sense for what's going on and understand it.
Yeah, I mean, like, he ran, you know, family services for Navy and Marine Corps for however many years, and like, and so he has, and he, you know, did 2 tours in Iraq back then, you know, helping to rebuild back when we did that.
Right.
You know, I mean, the guy's the smartest guy around, and it's really just. But no, he's not. And he's, when he listens to this, he's like, oh my God, he's going to kill me, because he does not want to be known as the CFO. That's not his thing. But he knows the right questions to ask.
Exactly.
And along with me, and he understands me, and he understands what we're trying to do. And so for me, like, he's that partner, like what you guys would bring to the table for somebody that does not have that.
Right. And the other big shift,
experience, and you have the experience, like with working with other law firms for years and years and years, and what they've gone through. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was going to say the big shift is, you know, when we first started what was then, you know, our ATM business, first of all, you kind of needed a lot of money, almost $1 million to start a business. You needed to be brick and mortar. You needed to have desktops, and you needed all of this, you know, servers and everything else. And you needed to have an accounting department. And I remember at the time, our accounting department was about $500,000 in payroll. Well, things have shifted and changed so much now with new technology, the new methodologies, new technologies in the cloud. It's so much different now, where you don't need to have a full accounting department, because if you're paying for a CFO full time, you're very inefficient for the most part. You don't need that. But if you don't have somebody that can do that really understands what you're trying to get to, it's difficult, because one of the most important things, is to know what's important to you. Because if you just want to be more profitable, well, fire your staff, you know, keep the best customers and just do this. Well, that's very wrong if you're trying to grow your business.
Right. You're
And
gonna
so
yeah, exactly. That only
yeah.
work for a few months.
So it's just understanding what's really important and then making accounting to a system. It's a business system. That's really all it is. That's what's the mental shift for me.
Here's the other thing too, is like, I want to get away from, like, we keep calling it accounting, but
right.
It's bigger than that. And like, you know, and that's what we're saying here is like, accounting is kind of like, accounting for you is coding for me.
Yeah.
Like the coding is but the coding doesn't happen until a lot of other questions are answered, you know, when we're building a website. And it's no different. And so like you touched on it. See, here's the thing, folks, is that if you don't have, and most of you don't have the luxury of being able to pay, you know, upwards of $200,000 for a good CFO with experience that could like that is doing this, you know, 9 to 5, that's all they do. No law firm, unless you're a big giant law firm, you can't afford that.
Right.
But you need that. I mean, you need somebody with that acumen. And so that's what Kahuna provides, is that CFO availability and that CFO experience and wisdom. That's the big word, is wisdom, about, because you're working with hundreds of other firms that have gone through the minefield that others, you know, that others can learn from, right? You have tons of experience. You can, oh, you've got this thing. Oh, we've helped another firm with this thing just like you. And look what they've done, you know? And so people can learn from that, instead of like hiring off the street and going through that nightmare of like, oh crap, I just hired the wrong person and now they control my checkbook. I mean, like, that's the other thing too, right? Unraveling that, which we've had to do. All of us, I know people on this call or that are listening to this have had to deal with that. Like, oh crap, I hired the wrong person to run my books.
Yeah. Why are you paying
I know many people, I know friends that have been totally ripped off by their people. I mean, like, sadly.
It is sad, because they have this vision for something so much bigger, and they trust people, and we all do. We all need to trust them, but it's just uncanny how many business owners have been taken advantage of, and it's not right. It's not fair.
Well, the other part of that though is you get very judgmental. You know, like, Tom, why are you paying yourself so much? Why did you do that expense?
Oh,
right. Why did you buy another guitar? That couldn't be, you know. And so,
people. Yes.
Yes.
And you and I know people in our group that have talked about that have had that happen. Like people, like employees that have worked for like a long time with them, and they're you know, they're the office manager, and they're like, okay, why don't you take over the books for me? You know, they're like, yes, and they're best buddies, and then the firm grows, and the owner of the law firm, hey, it's my law firm. You know, like, I can take a vacation, I can give myself a raise, I can, you know, do whatever I want. And this person who's an office manager / comptroller / accountant, is also best buddies with everybody else in the office staff, and like blah blah blahs about like this. How many times you hear about this in small law firms?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't understand, you know, what went into it. You know, how many times did you work without pay? Yeah.
You have to have a firewall,
right,
between your finances and your employees, man.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, that is your business. And you know, because that shit gets out, anything can cause multiple. We all know it. We've all experienced it.
Information without context,
right?
Is dangerous.
Dangerous, exactly. Oh, Tom made all this money. Like, he spent all this money on that, or like, you know, Frank spent all this money on that. Everybody, like, nobody needs to know that stuff,
right?
So like everybody that's listening, that's got like a kid or somebody you do not know, or that somebody that you hired off the street that you're paying, 35 grand, and you think that they're going to solve your accounting problems, you're in for a rough ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say the other extreme.
Have you heard it? How many times have they come? How many clients, lawyers have come to you with horror stories?
Oh yeah. Well, the other thing, just I want to come to one side of this, and then I'll give it back to Andy. Is the other side is if you love your office manager, then you're doing them a tremendous disservice by putting all that pressure on them, because if you're one point of contact, one single point of failure, that's terrible for them. Our goal is not to replace your office manager. Our goal is not to, remove them.
That's
to just remove the pressure, and it's to make a system. Business works when you have good systems. And that's what we want accounting to be. It's a business system. So, accounting, we say that word, it's like the Princess Bride, inconceivable, accounting. You keep on saying that word, but I do not think it means what you think it means. Right. That's really how we see that. We have to use the word accounting sometimes because of the context of the conversation. But for us, it has nothing to do with debits and credits or accounting. It's a business system that can optimize what you're trying to do and find efficiency from where you are to where you want to go. That's the down and dirty of it. And if you're doing marketing to get from where you are to where you want to go, it's going to make it that much more efficient. It's like supercharging it.
Yep.
Now, Andy had something to say.
Well, that was, I don't want to trump that. I mean, I was going to say the other side. So the one side is the business owner. Why are they making all of this money? And then there's the other side of the business owner actually isn't making any money. There's multiple staff members who are making more than what the business owner is, because they're so nice. They're too nice to everybody else. And their spouse, their family is like, why can't we go on vacation? Why can't we? And again, it's full extremes because each business owner is different.
Right. Everybody's different.
Right.
Yeah. I have to give Andy a ton of credit, because you mentioned CFO, and if you look at it from the whole gamut of the stack, the accounting stack, you've got record keeping, chart of accounts, bookkeeping, accounting, strategy, tax strategy, all of these things. And people try to lump it all together into one, but it's not. They're separate. And what we really try to do is be more of a navigator rather than a CFO. And Andy's done a great job with that, working with our clients. A lot of people came to us initially because we use Clio, and we had some, there's several different practice managers that we work with, but Clio was really the first one, and they figured out how to use it. The other part of this is trust accounting is very peculiar for most non-lawyers to understand how to do that and do that properly.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by trust accounting?
Okay. I'm glad you said so. I'll let Andy explain this part. But
it's not about whether you trust somebody with your accounting. For attorneys who are on this podcast, they totally get that they're handling client trust funds that a client has given them, and they trust them with.
It is a bank.
And it's like a bank.
Yep.
And guess what? If the bar catches you stealing from the bank,
even by accident.
So
when you put a client puts $5,000 on retainer and you haven't done work for them yet, then that 10,000 or that 5,000 has to stay sequestered in this trust account. When you do $1,000 worth of work, then you can, through the right methods, take $1,000 out and put it into your operating account and recognize that as income. If you do it wrong, you could actually be disbarred.
You could be disbarred.
Yeah.
And it's happened. And
we've seen it.
Google it.
Yeah.
I've heard it. Look, I mean, I've been working with lawyers for 20 years, and I've heard it. Them getting, and accidentally, just like you said, like just doing it accidentally, not really knowing.
Oops.
And that's how they work. I mean, you get a retainer. You guys know this. And so that's another, these guys know this business.
Andy's helped a lot of lawyers that.
How many law firms, lawyers have you guys helped?
Well, I'd say it's in the hundreds, but I think specifically with back to trust accounting, or IOLTA or IOLA. I mean,
Yeah.
different things. It's not rocket science, but it is complex, and there's a very specific system. And Andy and his team has really helped a number of lawyers be able to look at and what we call unfubar, it's fouled up beyond all recognition to them, and they're freaking out, and they're losing sleep over because it doesn't balance, and it should. And they've really taken the pressure off and helped them figure out, let's get it fixed and figured out. And then we go forward in a good, simple way.
And just to this point, I had a call earlier this morning with a client, said, I synced my systems together and it's all fouled up.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. They should put warning signs on this stuff. And a sync is not a sync, is not a sync, is not a sync, and doesn't just take care of everything. It's not the magic button.
If you want to see Andy go apoplectic, you just mention the word, oh, it's easy. We'll just Zapier it. We'll just zap it. Because everybody thinks that Zapier will just fix everything. And Zapier is a good tool.
It's still a tool.
But it's a tool. And it doesn't
it's
fix
just a
everything.
piece of it. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
There's
Everybody
no magic
tries to
fairy dust.
oversimplify.
Right.
Yeah, they just want oh yeah. I don't want to know the details. Just tell me the
Yeah.
the reality. And by the way, lawyers, that's what we want from you. And that ain't how it goes with you either, is it? No, it ain't. So, we want to just be able to just go to just take care of this legal matter. No. You can tell me how complicated it is and all the things I got to do. Because I talk to lawyers, I got legal things I got to deal with. And that's what I've got to do. Same thing with you. You got to deal with this with accounting, with your finances, just like I have to deal with it.
Right.
You have to deal with it with your website. It's complex. It's not easy.
Right.
So you have chosen, and I'm speaking to everybody on this call that's listening. Mm-hmm. You have chosen this profession to be a lawyer. And it's a great profession and good for you. And, I applaud it. And all of my friends are lawyers. It's my business too. So I'm here to help you just like Frank and Andy are with Kahuna. But listen, these guys know accounting like I know websites, or well, my team does. I got the best. That's the thing.
Yeah. Same thing.
That's because it keeps changing.
Right.
You got to stay with it. And if lawyers, you're not going to be an ace Kahuna accounting department ever. There's no way that you're going to know it. You might be a great lawyer, and that's what you should focus on. Because if you try to become a great accounting department, you're not going to become a great lawyer. Right. Just like if you're trying to become a great SEO person, you're not going to become a great lawyer. Focus on what you started with. Absolutely. And let the professionals handle this for you. So we've got something for you. They've got a new offering, right, guys? This discovery accounting assessment that they'll do, which is what? An analysis. That's a fancy, Frank loves fancy words, everybody, and acronyms, and it's, so he's probably going to trademark this thing. It's going to have like TMs and R's and C's at the end of it. Yeah. But it's the Discovering Accounting Assessment. Right. The DAA. And so if you want to go to kahunaaccounting.com/WOM for World of Marketing. That's so I can get credit.
World of Marketing.
So we can get credit for it.
Yeah.
Yep. But go there and listen, everybody. I've known Frank a long time and known Andy a long time. They're great guys, entrepreneurs, and trustworthy people. And so if you are concerned about your accounting, or you don't have no idea, or you're just like, let me just see what's going on here, then I would recommend that you talk to these guys, because I can't think of anybody else that you should talk to, because they know it. They know lawyers, especially know estate planning lawyers. So they really got that down. So if you're an estate planning or trust attorney, then you should talk to these guys, because they know how to do it, and they could save you a lot of money, and they could save you a lot of frustration and agony and suffering. That period. Yes. Right?
Absolutely. And I think the other part of that is wherever you are now, from where you are to where you want to go, what would it be worth to shortcut that time frame? So Tom, we talked about, we've made a lot of trial and error. We figured things out the hard way.
Right.
If we would have been able to smooth out that graph to go straight there, it would have been a very different picture. And it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, it's not going to always be easy, but it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. And the most important thing is to find that efficiency and use accounting as a business system to improve your marketing, to improve everything that's important to you for why you started your business, why you started your practice.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, thank you again.
Thank you
for joining our podcast, The World of Marketing. My friends, it's great to see you. I hope to see you guys in person soon.
Yes.
But like I said, everybody, if you need to talk to somebody about accounting, if you're like pulling your hair out about it, or if you're just wondering, can this be a better thing, which it can be,
right?
No matter what. If you're doing, Andy, you want to say something?
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, so a lot of people think that this discovery accounting assessment is just about us getting a new client.
It's not.
And it's not.
No.
It's not. It's about helping you discover what's happening in your accounting. Yeah. And again, if you don't know, you have no idea. You don't know.
Right.
So this has
it's not like a colonoscopy.
No.
Okay.
I mean, there's good, bad, and ugly in every business. And our goal is not to be judgmental. It's just to help you see. It's kind of like G.I. Joe. Knowing is half the battle. And that's really what we want to do, is just help you know where you are. Then you can decide what's important and what you want to do with that. Whether it's working with us, that would be great in some cases, not in every case.
Everybody.
Yeah, you don't take everybody. That's the other thing. You're pretty picky about your clients.
Yeah. This will work with everybody who has a electronic business. If you're using an abacus and a drawer full of receipts, we're probably not a good fit for you. But any business, and we've had that. I mean, I'm saying that.
Hey, can I send you a shoebox of receipts and you scan?
You guys, well, here's the thing: is that you guys have your perfect client. That you want to work with. And so everybody, they're not for everybody. It might not be for you, but you can at least find out, by going through this assessment. We're just giving them a shout, tell them, here's my deal, here's my firm. Is this, am I a good fit? Let's talk a little bit more. Let's see if you guys, if it works out. No matter what, it's going to be a good thing for you to do. I mean, just find out what's going on. And it doesn't cost, does it cost anything to get it done?
Well, we have some information that's free that you can do your own assessment. Most want to go a little bit deeper and be able to actually, it's kind of like the car where you plug it in. And you can do the full diagnostic of everything. And again, we're going to provide a report that's very, very comprehensive, and you can decide what you want to do with that, whether that's you've got your own team you can do or your own resources. Again, it's very agnostic for us. We're just trying to give people the right information that they can make good decisions from.
Yeah, so somebody gets this thing and, based on how it goes, they could go further.
Absolutely.
And of course, if they go further, then, you're probably going to end up working together anyway. But listen.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So it's KahunaAccounting.com. That's KAHUNA accounting.com/WOM. We'll put it down here, and
WOM for World of Marketing.
World of Marketing. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And hey, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And below. Share and like the buttons. Yeah, push
wherever
it is. Wherever you are. And let the world know. All right, guys. Great talking to you. Thank you, Frank and Andy. Hang tight. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Tom Foster on the World of Marketing. Talk to you soon.